What's up, everybody? I am the Ultraviolent Siren and your favorite indie hype girl, Kakeface Karlee, and welcome to another episode of X Brand Unleashed. We're on episode 31, and you guys, we have an amazing episode today. We have someone that has been a part of XPW, Lucha Extreme Wrestling, Revolution X, X Brand. She has been a valet, a wrestler, and now the general manager of X Brand Wrestling. She's the hardcore healer, as well as part of She's Hardcore Enterprises and Blood Culture Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Veronica Caine.
Thanks for having
Welcome.
me. Finally, we've been both been part of the X Brand family for a while now, and have yet to.
I know. I'm so glad we're finally able to do this. Thank you so much for taking the time and doing this. Like, you're a very busy lady, and it's so nice to finally have you on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I missed you. The first Texas show that X Brand did. I know you were there, but I got waylaid. But this time, nothing's stopping me this time. So.
Yes, and I'm so excited about that, and I'm excited to talk about your plans for Texas coming up. But I want to dive deep into your history. You've done a lot of really cool and, like we were talking off camera, very interesting stuff as well. But I want to know, when did you started watching wrestling? You know, what got you hooked into watching it?
Truthfully, like growing up, it wasn't a big part of my life. I wasn't one of those kids that was like clicking on the TV every week to, watch whatever WWF was doing. But I did, I caught some Glow. So I would say for watching wrestling on television, Glow probably was the first thing that I was like, oh, what's that? What are they doing? Like, of course, it wasn't corny to me then because, it was cool that they were rapping and that they had a lot of hairspray in their hair and goofy outfits and stuff. But the cool thing was they were chicks, and that's what kind of made me turn away from whatever I was doing and take note. But live wrestling events didn't really get in on much of that either. I would say my very first somewhat like live wrestling event was a no-ring show in the middle of a rockabilly show. A bunch of bands were playing. I was a little rockabilly girl back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Nice.
And a friend of mine that was in one of the bands, Johnny Legend, he also did a thing called Incredibly Strange Wrestling. And it was weird. It was weird and wild. And there's a guy like wrapped up like a mummy, like coming out to the ring. And like, I don't know, they just opened up the floor and people started wrestling. And that was like, truthfully, my first live wrestling event was no ring, which is weird and cool.
That's amazing.
And telling, because being involved with X Brand, a lot of what we do is no ring these days.
Right.
And then I had another little adventure into wrestling before I really kind of got into it. And that was, I was a dancer in my early 20s, mid 20s, somewhere in there. And, I was a dancer.
Hey.
They came and kind of like recruited girls for wrestling videos. So it was always, girls wrestling each other in something scantily clad. We would get like a little bit of training beforehand on, a few moves or, locking up or whatever. And then it always ended with some like weird, like, all right, now you're going to sit on their face until they can't breathe anymore. And that's how you win the match. So, which I did bring that with me later into XPW.
I will bring that up too when we bring that, which I love that, by the way. But yes, please continue.
Even then, it was sort of like, oh, I got hired for this gig. It wasn't like I had really embraced wrestling like in my heart, And then later on, I did get involved with Extreme Associates within the world of adult entertainment, which led me to XPW. And that was like my my first like real live wrestling event, sit down and watch a show in the ring, had deathmatch. It had Homeless Jimmy and White Trash Johnny Webb and Supreme and all those guys and Dynamite D and all of them, coming out. And
that's amazing.
Bloody and stuff. So, and I was by the end of the show, like standing on my chair, also still not unusual. When I'm a fan at a wrestling show, I cut loose. I have a good time. But
Oh, hell yeah. You're supposed to.
I really just loved it. And when I saw the girls coming out, when I saw like Lizzie Borden coming out and
Right.
Jessica Darlin and these girls, I was like, oh, I love what they're doing. I could do that, and I knew I was fairly athletic just naturally from being a dancer and stuff like that. So I thought, well, sign me up, like how do I get into this? But I didn't, immediately get into it. I went to more and more XPW shows and
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, then eventually contracted with them and became I transitioned before it was cool from Barrett Moore to Veronica Caine. So,
and Barrett Moore, for understanding, that was your adult entertainment name?
An earlier stage name I had used
Okay.
World. And then we just kind of, it's wrestling. You rebrand, you become who you want to be. And Veronica Caine Caine works. Veronica Caine came into existence, came to fruition, and with that, the Enterprise, which was one of the wackiest, coolest factions.
Yeah.
In my opinion, obviously my favorite, but.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot of involvement with the Enterprise. And I mean, just the amount of people that were a part of, GQ Money, Chris Hamrick, the Sandman, Chaos, CJ Rush. I mean, there was a lot of people involved, and of course yourself included. Like, I love the fact that transition from you getting into, just as a fan, which I can definitely resonate with you with, because my first live show was also Deathmatch, which is crazy because it was, the Loco and X-Brand Weekend was like my first live show and live Deathmatch thing. So I could definitely resonate with that. So let's dive deep of you being part of XBW. You were managing battling for the Enterprise, but you also had some time within the ring as well, even some mixed tag matches, which even for that time period really wasn't heard of. And even if women had involvement within matches, it was just, a small spot here and there, never full involvement. So tell me what that was like, being part of actual mixed tag matches. And one of the most crazy stipulation of matches that you've been involved with was a raw sewage match. And when I saw that, I was like, this poor thing, this poor beautiful soul, what are you doing? I felt so bad for you. But you were tagged with GQ Money and you went against Lizzie Borden and Angel. Tell me about that match and that experience.
Yes. Well, that match was in response to an attack on the Enterprise by basically members of the Black Army, which, if people aren't aware, was like Rob Black and Lizzie Borden and different people, that were part of that group. So we were attacked with a truck full of raw sewage. We were just leaving a convenience store, just going to have snackies or whatever. And up pulls, I believe it was Angel at the Angel manning the hose. Okay. So Angel handling the big hose that was spraying us down with, yucky stuff. It was really gross. And there is actually a little kind of scene of GQ Money in the shower, I think, or I'm in the shower, and he's in the bathtub, and we're having a conversation about how we're going to get them back and we're going to do this to them. We're going to make them have to suffer through the poo-poo like we did. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I want to commend you with that match too, because it was more, again, the women had more involvement of just, just slapping the opponents. And it was more than just cat fight material, which I very much commend you guys. I was like, wow, this is impressive. Again, for that time period and the women's involvement in matches, especially when men's business, stay out of it while they're fighting, you know what I mean? But you guys did work. And something that you had mentioned that you had brought to the XPW, like for like in ring, a certain move that you did of sitting on someone's face, which I loved. It was a very special way to do the rock bottom. Which I was like, okay, I love that. Just tell me about everything with that match, and the Enterprise ended up winning that match. You got the victory for that match.
Yes. So you're right. Like at the time, there were not a lot of women. There were not a lot of women in wrestling. It was starting to grow more, and you were seeing a lot of like baddies. I mean, you were seeing a crop of baddies start to surface, like your Lita and Trish and these ladies, at that like Attitude Era time. And a lot of what you would see probably in indies was more of valets getting involved, managers getting involved. Shout out to Francine for, being 88 pounds soaking wet and, taking these like gnarly bumps. That's really where I think what coined the term "she's hardcore" back then was, valets, people like her, taking a bump that people wouldn't expect. So yeah, some of it started with just me being a bossy bitch and jumping in the ring and messing with the ref or messing with the opponent, and then, getting always, if you have to cheat to win, so be it, you won, who cares? But Lizzie Borden, another person I will give a massive shout out, because in my opinion, at that time of that type of worker, valet, female, hottie, whatever, she was, in my opinion, the best wrestler and the best athlete in that group. If I look at the East Coast girls, West Coast, like whatever, she was, I think she was under a lot of pressure. I mean, being like the boss's wife, like she felt the need to, step it up, which she did. And, we both did a little bit of training prior to just jumping in the ring in that tag team match, which, intergender tag team match in, what was it, 2002, maybe, something like that. Not something you would see a lot of, probably very rare. What can I say? Pioneering.
I mean, trailblazer over here. I love that.
But yeah, we put the work in ahead of time. We had, great trainers working with Angel and working with GQ Money, like incredible trainers, very good at that. And we went out there and we did the damn thing. I mean, it was a good match. And to this day, I see it posted on like Trash Bag Wrestling or something. And I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, have you watched the match? Like, before you just go, oh, it's more, trash or whatever. I'm like, how about you go watch that and take into account that two of the people in that match are not trained wrestlers. So, I mean, for what it was, we did it. And I didn't even realize until a couple years ago when I rewatched the footage, because I really hadn't had wrestling on the brain for a good chunk of the last, 10, 20, 15 years. I don't know. I was like, oh shit, they held my arm up. I won this match. I knew we went over, right, but I forgot exactly like the details of it. And then of course that match also had that gnarly fall with Angel. Angel was always getting busted up in some kind of like
that was a gnarly fall.
Like that. Yeah, not.
Wow. And I mean, again, I commend you, for being part of such a, not just, a trailblazing time period for women with, mixed tag, but I mean, even just the brand itself, it very, controversial for its time, but also very, like, again, another trailblazing type of thing, because there's a lot of crass things that in, companies and things that people have done after that have people have taken from XPW that I've noticed. So it's really cool that, you're part of that. So you mentioned that for a chunk of time, you said for like about 15 years or so, you weren't thinking about wrestling at all. Did you step away from it completely?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a time where I finally kind of broke away and left the wrestling scene and went to school, and
Okay.
became a nurse, and then just started working, and I don't know, just kind of started living a different life. And it wasn't something, I mean, I would see a little bit of stuff here and there, but it wasn't like, and I still had contact with the people that I was close with from the early days from XPW.
Yeah.
So I still had those people as in the fabric of my life, and I still followed like Santino Brothers, training in LA and that kind of stuff. So those were my only real connections to wrestling, was my real life, wrestling family people. And then had the opportunity in 2022 when XPW came to Pomona to come down and just, hang out and see people I hadn't seen in a long time. And the main thing was also we did a tribute to Supreme that night. So a lot of oldsters hobbled into the ring with our walkers and, went up there and we did his 10 bells, and we, it was a great night. And it was the, what the heck was the show called? California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
So it was the 7 hours. It was their first show out there. It was like a monster, like deathmatch tournament show. And I just fell right back in love with it and right back into wanting it to be a part of my life. And this is just coming out of the pandemic, working in healthcare. I lived in a very isolated area. I was a mountain mama for a few years up in the Central Sierra foothills.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was living, fairly remotely. I lived just me and my dog. And, then the pandemic hits, so you're even more isolated all the time. So having an opportunity, I guess maybe it sort of opened my eyes back up to like wanting some more things back in my life.
Sure.
I went with my brain and my skills and, followed that passion of caring for others and doing the healthcare thing. But like, I was missing the pizzazz. Like I was missing the art and the creating and, just all the things that come, the thrills,
Absolutely.
So I got sucked right back in, and like probably harder than ever, probably recognizing that we're mortal, recognizing that we only get so much time. Life is short. And I was like, I'm gonna do something fun. I'm going to do wrestling adventures now and see
yeah,
where it takes us. So
good for you. That's absolutely incredible. Coming back to XPW, I mean, pretty much almost 20 years later, what were some of the differences and similarities from when you were first in XPW and then coming back?
Well, it was a whole new field of characters,
Right.
So a part of it was, which was actually kind of cool, was once I made up my mind I was going to go to the show, I started learning everything I could about everybody on the show, just because I was like, I want to make this really fun for myself. So, what's the deal with all these people? And just started following people and talking to people ahead of time, and, just catching up on kind of what's been going on since, however long ago it was that I really kind of stopped being involved. And that made it fun for me. So each time they would announce somebody new or something, I'd be like, oh, okay, who's this? Well, and it was fun. It got me like really hyped for the show. And to see old fans, that means like so much, to see people, from 20 years prior that were like, I used to watch you every Friday night on, the cable access, XPW TV. I was 15 or, whatever at the time. Like, so I get a lot of people that were like probably in their mid 30s, that like I was a core memory for them in their teen years. So it's
Oh, yeah.
funny when they're approaching me and they're like, whoa, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just me, you know. But remember, like, seeing the love that they had, you know, and how important it was to them at one point what we were doing, and how much it impacted them, and how much they still, you know, get a kick out of it and love it and whatever. And you know, the more people are like throwing love at you, like how is it? How are you not gonna reciprocate that and want to, you know, want more of that and want to
Absolutely.
provide them with, you know, something more if you can.
100%. And I love, even though, like, because you're so humble, usually you say, you know, it's just me and whatever, but you do have such a significance of, like, within the scene. And even, you know, when you came back and, you know, again, like you mentioned before about, you know, first rebranding yourself from, you know, the Barrymore to Veronica Caine, and then coming back, you went from Veronica Caine, you know, the valet and wrestler, to Veronica Caine, the hardcore healer, bringing your real life of, you know, learning, you know, the nursing and everything, and incorporating that into wrestling. Tell me how that came to be.
I mean, it came to be just by the natural effect of having a healthcare background and walking into the locker room, and every time two or more wrestlers came back from their match, I would look at them and immediately want to pounce on them and clean this, close that, you know, wrap this, throw an ice pack on it, like, you know, whatever. Like I'm just looking around me, and everywhere there's like work to be done. And a lot of people and promotions and stuff, I don't think are focused on that. So, you know, I immediately was like, well, I have no supplies to do this with, you know, there's a roll of paper towels maybe. So it initially started with in LA at Pomona, making like a big Tupperware box and filling it with everything. So I went to that first show, and by the time I came back for a few more, which were every other month at that time, I had created a new first aid box with Jasmine helped kind of stock it as well. And then we'll get into that. But later on, when I left for Philly, I left that box behind and kind of bequeathed it to her so that, you know, going forward, like someone would be there to bring the box of supplies. So at least people could DIY, you know, take care of themselves. But it started off with that. And then I started doing the Heart Ballroom shows here. And I posted up. People didn't even know I was there because I wasn't in front of anybody. I was upstairs in the back with my little station where you'd come through and see me after you get your bloody photos taken or whatever. And
Nice.
You know, you got to understand the business as well as like the healthcare brain, where I'm like, I want to take care of it right now, but go get your pictures taken. You know,
Right. Get the cool shot, but then come here right afterwards so you don't bleed out.
yeah. We're a real healthcare professional. We'll be like, no, this is more important. We need to take care of you. I'm like, no, we need photos first, and then entertainment above all.
I know that is absolutely true. You'd mentioned of moving to Philly, like you left the box behind for Jasmine and everything. What made you want to move to Philadelphia?
I mean, well, obviously it's the birthplace of, you know, feels like the birthplace of hardcore wrestling in America. So that's clearly the only reason.
Oh, of course. And I mean, it almost was like destiny for you to like be there, of course, like, you know, helping out, like you said, in the ballroom and stuff like that, and just being in that area. Like, I love that. It literally was.
It opens a whole wide world. Yeah, that, and like I said, the pandemic, I feel like put me in a mindset of wanting some sort of adventure. And I got involved in a romance. So, you know, we always do rash things, and you know,
honey, I know it.
wild decisions when the heart is in charge. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what got me here. And then once I got here, it was just kind of, you know, all right, well, what are we going to do with this? And doing the medical stuff, I started to branch out, obviously from XPW into other companies
Absolutely.
that needed help or asked for help or reached out. And Justin from X Brand reached out. And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. I'll bring my bag or whatever. And that's how that was, that connection came to be.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What after that? Because if I'm not mistaken, it was at least for your on-screen almost like debut. If I remember correctly, wasn't it one of the Ultraviolent House Party shows? You came out with Christian Ross.
So I think there was a little bit before that. So there was.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure if I got the timeline right, but Glitch in the Matrix was a show that was at the H2O Center.
Okay, that's right.
So I did come out with Christian actually there first, I believe.
Okay.
I got involved in a match where I didn't actually come to the ring with him. I kind of ran in to help him out to get his attention.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh wait, who's got the gold? Who wants to work with Veronica Caine? Because as much as I love doing the medical, like I also, I get like that itch to want to get out there and do something else.
Of course.
So yeah, I believe I pulled Jimmy Deacon. He was counting. It was Lance. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say their name. And Annoy and
Anawai?
Thank you.
Oh,
that's the first person who said it out loud to me. Then okay, thank you. Yes, he was going for the pin, and I pulled Deacon off, and yeah, so I helped Christian out.
Okay.
Friendship, and I also got to slap the shit out of Deacon because he thought he was going to say something about it. And yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Some things happen. Sorry, Jimmy.
Was the beginning of seeing me on the East Coast get involved in the matches and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that much after that you did debut as general manager for X Brand.
Yeah, so I worked with Christian a few times, and Justin got into an arrangement with Jasmine St. Clair to actually be the general manager. Something that I helped facilitate because, that's what I do. I'm a businesswoman besides a healthcare professional. And Justin was looking for somebody that was, capable of leading, helping to lead the company where it needed to go. And it was just a real temporary thing where Jasmine kind of popped in and then we lost track of her and we started to have shows where we weren't sure where she was or what was happening and if she still wanted to be a part of what we were doing. And I started getting frustrated because, I'm like, hey, I tried to put you guys together and, now like Justin's over here, like I need help. And
right.
For the longest time, he had made me the interim GM, and I was happy to do that a couple of times. But when I started getting more and more responsibilities put on me, I was like, "Excuse me, but like, should this not be my job?" So I really super nicely asked Justin to sign a contract with me with She's Hardcore. He may or may not have come willingly.
Okay.
But that's on him, that's on him. So yeah, I may have bullied him just a little bit in the beginning to get my, my foot in the door here as the general manager officially. But we do what we need to do. And,
hey, sometimes men got to be bullied a little bit, just a little. Just just to get some shit done.
I think I had Kelly's support. I feel like I had Kelly on my team. But, yeah. So once that got rolling, then yeah, the things started happening. Are You Saved, the original Are You Saved show in
yes
at the skate ramp place. The Fear show that we did. It was in I believe it was like October of 24, maybe. Be wrong. Would have been at H2O. That was a pretty amazing show as well. We, at the last minute, got told we couldn't use glass. We were prepared.
Oh,
We were
no.
prepared for a full-on deathmatch show, and it was like, oh, hey guys, like we got an issue now. We can't use glass here, and we put on a killer show. I will give every worker went out there and made everything bigger and better and badder, and it was very respectable. We were about 3 matches in, I think, when somebody on the stream said, "You know what? I haven't seen a tube yet." Like they were watching. They were watching and loving the show, and they didn't even notice for a while that like nobody got cracked with the tube yet. So we were starting to make a little bit of noise. We announced Wicked, and I will say that, yeah, you know, X-Brand's been around since 2022. So they're about to close in on their 4th year here, and in their 3rd year, Justin was ready to pull together a deathmatch tournament, something he had really wanted to do. Got a beautiful belt made. We announced it at Are You Saved, the first one, and started, you know, right out the gate said, you know, Nick Gage is going to be on this show, and then we just started hitting them with a really great lineup. And unfortunately, we ran into venue drama, which is like a whole thing out here. But we did find a place with the White Trash Wrestling House.
Yes, shout out to White Trash Wrestling. Love them.
We took that tournament to the backyard and made it. I mean, it went off without a hitch. It was a phenomenal show.
100%.
Super proud to be a part of it and to be trusted by X-Brand to help with things like booking and creative, and you know, to be included on that is something that I hadn't had a chance to do prior to that. It just wasn't my role, like with XPW. I did have some creative where I could make suggestions or whatever, but not on this level, not where I felt like as a trusted member of the team. So yeah, it's a place that, you know, something was needed. That's what we do. We see something is needed and we jump in, and that's how the GM thing came to be.
And I feel like you've done wonders like with X-Brand and being a part of X-Brand, you know, even with, you know, the little setbacks of like, you know, like venue drama and stuff like that. I feel like regardless, X-Brand has still done amazing things, whether it be in a basement, in a backyard, in a dive bar, in a cave. I feel like X-Brand has still put on incredible shows. I think it's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, in the desert.
Yes, in the desert too.
In a plane, on a train. You know, eventually, like they'll go everywhere. The basement shows.
Yes.
You know, there's people that are gonna obviously have something to say about that, like, oh, it's this or that, or you know, whatever. And I'm like, you come down there and tell me it's not a blast. You get down there, get down and dirty and raw with us in a tight, you know, closed space. It's visceral.
Yeah.
And I take issue, particularly with with deathmatch, when people get snobby about like, oh, it's in a backyard or and I'm like, you know what, TOD's in a backyard. Shut up.
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. And it's always been like outside, like
learn to appreciate things for what they are, or keep it pushing, you know, like, but people that have come out have had a great time, and you know, I'm all for like basement tour America. Let's go. Who's got a basement? We'll show up, and
that would be amazing. Yes, a basement tour would be fire.
Yeah, but it's also great, especially to shut people up sometimes. It's also great to put together a show when you have the opportunity, like Las Vegas.
Yes, absolutely.
So we, you know, and showing people that, you know what, you're not going to stop us. Like Justin has, I mean, I would ask him sometime to go through and like literally take account, because he's put on so many shows, put out so much content, doesn't cancel, doesn't, you know, I mean, like he just learns to pivot. I think he's learned so much on the job training, trial and error. He has the best attitude.
Yeah.
We stay in our lane. We do what we do. We're different. We don't have to be, there can be within deathmatch even or hardcore, there could be different vibes. You go to a show like Seven. It's just pure smash, Hulk smash, glass, testosterone, whatever. And it's a blast. It's great. It's a short show. It's like 5 matches and you leave just like, or you can go to a bigger show where they've got more stylized weaponry, something like a TOD show, or you can do like something that's a party, where it's fun, like our house parties in, in New Jersey. We did a few of those. And those were so great. It was a bummer to lose that venue because it was so fun. The vibe was on, the matches were good. People were, excited to be a part of it.
Yes.
And it didn't need to be, things were done professionally. But it didn't need to be, glitz and glamour and bells and whistles and all that to put on good matches.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people come through, even before I was around. Another thing I would like to say is that the untrained narrative that a lot of people like to use. There are people, obviously there are people who could use more training.
100%.
And they're everywhere, and especially in the indies, and especially in deathmatch, because it does have a different skill set, and sometimes that skill set comes naturally without knowing how to wrestle. So if you're just going in and beating the shit out of each other and hitting each other with objects or whatever, it's a little less technical. But I'm a big proponent of encouraging like ongoing training. Like you don't just go, you get a certificate and you're like, I'm a wrestler now. I always did believe that like you should have professional wrestling training prior to doing anything, getting in the ring at all. It's how you keep yourself safe. It's how you keep each other safe. And people discount how many wrestlers have come through X-Brand. With a lot of training, and, really good quality entertainment, and, it's going to be a mix. But some people just love to, latch on to like a negative thing, or, just lump you in with like, oh, it's that backyard stuff, or it's, that blood stuff or whatever. It's not wrestling, or it's not good enough death match because, you didn't sell 2,000 tickets or whatever. Like, I don't want to be, crude or whatever, but fuck off.
It's the truth. I feel like, especially with, like you said, even within our niche of, the ultra violence, the hardcore, the deathmatch side of professional wrestling, and I do say very proudly, style of professional wrestling, because like there is little bits of things for everybody. And even within the death match, and I think it's just, it takes away from what we're trying to do of like, having inclusive of us being these little ultraviolet misfits, just trying to fit in within the world of professional wrestling. I don't think there should be that negativity of like, oh, well, it's not this type of death match or this type. It's counterproductive of what we're trying to do for the community itself.
Yeah.
So I agree with you completely.
Agreed. I just wish, people could learn a thing or two, in my opinion, from Justin. I can't say enough about the guy and how he keeps a positive attitude and the stay in your lane. Just focus on what you're doing. Don't keep your blinders on with all this stuff, and I think it's a great lesson for anyone in life trying to accomplish anything is don't measure yourself by other people, and don't let too much noise in. So it's what's kept them going, on like a shoestring and a prayer now for 4 years, still going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Vegas was, I think, a good, a good thing for us to get out there and show people what happens when, we've got the right setting.
Yeah, absolutely. And having the perfect mix of showing off the X brand locker room, as well as bringing, people in as like little snippets, like, with Anthrax's match with Nathan Mowry and Dr. Redacted, even even like Jesse when he was a part his match with Hoodfoot, even having the full match with Toby Klein, Lane, and Deranged. Like, it was just such a, even the scramble, just everything was such a good boom, 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 boom from start to finish. Hardcore and Tim Strange, just everything was beautiful from start to finish. So I agree completely.
The tag team match with
that's right. The tag team with Angel. Oh my gosh, who was her tag team partner?
Beastman,
and then Santic Shiva and Ludark. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and it turned into a title match for the She's Hardcore title on the spot.
That's right. And speaking of She's Hardcore, I wanted to shift into that and how that came to be, and kind of like your mission statement with She's Hardcore.
Okay. Like I said, originally my exposure and my interest, even my involvement in wrestling, always sort of involved women. Whether it was seeing Glow, jumping in and doing the, cat fight stuff, that type of thing. Then my early on involvement, being involved in that manner. And so it's always something that just has been near and dear to me, to come back 20 years later and see how amazingly far women in mainstream wrestling, indie wrestling, deathmatch and hardcore, it actually like just makes me feel really good. Warms my little heart, because you don't imagine that things are possible sometimes until you really see them coming into fruition and becoming something that people love. And obviously the people love to watch it. Anybody who watches WWE sees how the women are a massive part of that, if not the best part, so yeah, kind of being a more mature woman, being a healthcare professional, getting my hands involved more, like behind the scenes, all of these things are like really empowering. And I look at women outside of, it's not just about combat sports, it's in the world, you've got, to me, like She's Hardcore means that lady that's an astronaut, that lady that's an EMT, that lady that's a stay-at-home mom, like they're killing it, they're doing things in male dominated fields, and they're thriving and surviving and leading. So women in positions of leadership, or who are being trusted with things like booking, like I can go, hey, what do you think about this? And I get feedback, and it's not feedback just to make me go away and, shut me up. It's, oh, hey, actually, yeah. Or what do you think about these two? Or, so like kind of being trusted, I would say, being brought into the fold and a part of something, versus that like one-off token, like TNA, kind of like you only have that to offer to wrestling or the world, right, or, whatever, sports or whatever it is. So it's really about empowering and owning, and I love seeing women who have earned their spots, and women who are earning it, like, in my opinion, yourself, by creating your spot, by seeing something that you love and figuring out how you can contribute something valuable, how you can support it, how you can support the people that are doing it, and like where do maybe women are especially good at this, I don't know, but it's like finding that spot, like for me, it's the medical, or maybe some other creative things, but it's creating your spot. And
Yeah.
it's not just going like, well, I'm going to do this. Here I am. It's earning. It's being in the trenches. It's, having to learn how to go up and talk to people and tell them, hey, I'd like to interview you. Probably in the beginning it was daunting, and me rolling up with my medical bag at TOD or something, and I'm like, hey guys, you need something. And they're like, as a matter of fact, we do. How did you know? Well, I'm a woman, and that's our superpower.
Right. We know a lot. Just trust, but
Yeah. So to me, that's what She's Hardcore encompasses. It's Veronica Caine is not a name I'm ashamed of, but it does harken back to the past. Sure. And certain aspects of my past have made it harder for me to be accepted, I think. Currently or along the way, steps have been a little bit harder sometimes because, somebody will look at her and go, oh, she's just this or that or whatever. And so you got to kind of push through that and, and deal with some of that and work around that. But I thought, it would be cool if I rebranded in another form as an actual brand, and did something cool. I didn't know what exactly, but something besides just the medical, but being able to be involved and to lift people up. I consider myself a bit of an empowerment entrepreneur, if you will.
I can agree with that.
And that's where the She's Hardcore title came from. I'm like, not only are my britches so big that I'm gonna make a brand and push my way in here, but I'm also gonna make this title and I'm going to make it mean something.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, hey, here's a pretty shiny belt. It's, hey, here's a belt that women can earn by, being as tough as they possibly can, being some of the grittiest, in the game right now. And that's how it, it made its way into Angel Metro's hands as its first sort of ambassador.
That's right. During the first Wicked 13 when she was given that.
It wasn't earned by a contest. It wasn't earned by, hey, I'm going to put this belt on the line and you two are going to fight for it. And then, going forward, you'll be the champ. I saw enough in Angel at that time. This was immediately following her match that she lost with Bobby Beverly.
Yep.
And I was like, no, what we're going to do is you're going to have this belt and you're going to hold on to it until somebody, comes along that takes it from you. But she was a great person for me to choose to represent it because I see how hard she works. I see her humility. I see her taking risks. I mean, like doing some crazy stuff.
100%.
And staying true to herself and not selling out.
Yes.
Is everything. So I'm always happy to work with her and be involved with her. And, some of the other amazing chicks that have come through my life since kind of getting back involved. I don't know if I have all this ink that's dedicated to women in deathmatch.
Is that what it's all dedicated to?
So I'll just show you this one, but you recognize that lady?
Oh my God.
Yeah. This whole sleeve that's the death match. And, so I have tattoos of like goddesses and strong women on my body. I've got like a Karlee, the crazy Karlee. I've got Persephone up here. So I sort of started doing these different types of goddesses. And I was like, they're always kind of dark. They're always kind of violent warrior, types, troubled types, dark, sinister, not sinister maybe, but, and I was like, why don't I just put some of those people that I know who sort of embody this for me? Like we have Sage Sin Supreme right there.
Love that.
Yeah. And I've got Who Am I? I know I'm doing like a whole show and tell right here, but I've got Who Am I for Supreme. Recognize that guy.
Mm-hmm.
My little X brand. Little Knuckles there. And then you might also recognize this bloody faced Florida ma'am.
Oh my God, yes.
So my dedication is legit, all right?
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, you literally, inside and out wear She's Hardcore on your statement, of course, on your shirt today.
On my sleeve, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that on top of it now, because you had mentioned that, you wanted to make a brand and everything, and now you're doing something the weekend of, the second chapter of Wicked 13. Before that, you are hosting Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And when you had first announced that you were doing that, I just want to say, like, with everything that you have put into yourself and into X brand and your own brand and being the hardcore healer and She's Hardcore, like, I am so incredibly proud of just like seeing everything you've done. And despite any ridicule or just how you're saying like, oh, well, she's just this or she's just whatever, like, you have absolutely persevered. And regardless, it's like, this is me. This is my brand. You're going to fucking love it. Sorry, and I love that about you. But yeah, I want you to talk about, how Drop Dead Gorgeous, came to be and just how amazing it's going to be, and the names. Oh my God. Like,
yeah. So, I'll be honest. Wicked 13, the first one, I felt like it was like a check mark for me. It was being like that involved with an actual deathmatch tournament, the first ever for a company, obviously in a company that I love.
mm-hmm.
But being, that I'm all about like bringing women to the forefront, I had thought, well, we've got, a title. What about, I feel like the white whale of deathmatch is the all women's tournaments, which I know are not, they've happened. It's obviously not, something new, but it is fewer and more far between because we just don't have as many women to, to work from a pool.
Right.
So the initial thought was tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But if you recall, I mentioned I'm a nurse. So the amount of money that it would put, that it would really require to put on the right type of tournament, all women, you got to take care of women, right? They don't mess around. Like, you got to pay them right. You got to, transport their lovely bodies to where you want them to be. You got to put them up, you got to take good care, just like I would want to be taken care of if I was
absolutely,
traveling or whatever. Guys, you can fit 27 in a van. They'll show up. They'll sleep in the car, like whatever. And it would have to be, and we're talking international. We're talking women coming from all over the planet.
Yeah.
To really make the one when people, I see on the groups, Deathmatch Elite or whatever, where somebody will list their 16, deathmatch women. And I'm like, yeah, that would be great. Send me money. Me money. So it started out more as like, let's see what I can do. Can we do a little tournament, for the She's Hardcore title, which is now being held by Ludark, which is, I couldn't be more happy with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it started to come together, and I thought, work with certain people, and it's hard. I don't want to be a wrestling promoter. Like, I'm doing this really insanely fun, cool doubleheader event with Wicked with Justin, but like, I'm not going to do this again. No, I don't know. I might. But the concept of a tournament is no joke. Like, when when fans go to shows and stuff, they need to understand that, like, not everybody's going to show up. You had it all laid out, not everybody's going to show up.
Oh, yeah.
You got people that like, oh, I don't feel comfortable working with that person. I might be more comfortable working with this person. And now you're reworking out things. And, there's a lot involved. And again, travel and whatever, like I'm taking care of these ladies, and gentlemen there and people because it is a female forward show, but it is not entirely a women's show. So that's another sort of change that happened. So I had my initial thought, and it just evolved. It evolved into maybe not a tournament. Mm-hmm. So what if we have an amazing main event that definitely delivers the gore the gore part of Gorgeous? But what if we also step back another, few feet and focus on really great wrestling? So, maybe some women you're going to see that you haven't really seen bleed before. And, maybe it's not going to be the bloodbath that some of your deathmatch workers give, but maybe it is, so maybe we're going to see some stuff for the first time that's going to blow people's minds. But even regardless of the gore factor or whatever, we're going to deliver good hardcore action, deathmatch action, great women, some other great workers that we've got involved in some of the matches. And yeah, just skilled, entertaining wrestling, because why not sprinkle a little bit of that in with a deathmatch tournament that we know is going to be like blood, like let's warm them up a little bit with an appetizer that's going to be like really amazing.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. And it's just enough, like you said, it's an appetizer where you're not going to be so full with the ultraviolence where it's like, okay, I don't know if I can handle much more of this. It's like, ooh, okay, got that main event. I'm fucking ready. Let's go. Like, that's beautiful. And just the amount of people that you have that are going to be on the card. Oh my God. Like, I am so excited. And also well, excited for myself as well, because I want to say just on camera as well, thank you for giving me the opportunity for being on commentary with Peter Angelo. I am so excited to be on commentary for you.
Yeah. Again, like, one thing I love about being involved with X Brand is how much people are built there. I love homegrown talent. It's what I came from. So XPW was heavily homegrown LA guys. Yeah. And so, being at X Brand and having the little group there and seeing people progress over the years and seeing them get opportunities and seeing them improve and, all of these things. I like that. I like people that are hungry and that are willing to like fight and work for, what their goals are. So yeah, I kind of lost myself there. I lost myself.
But seriously, I just want to say thank you for that. And also thank you for putting on this is going to be a phenomenal show and a great way to start, day 2 of that weekend. No Ring, No Master 666 is going to be the day before, presented by Loco. But I'm so excited for the day full of She's Hardcore and X Brand, and I'm so excited. And I can't wait for, this first ever Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I'm hoping there will be plenty more after. I know you already said it's a lot, but still, I think people are going to be eating that up like hotcakes, girl.
I'm big on saying never again, and then it's not never. So we'll see. But yes, no, that's what where I lost my train of thought was. We were talking about your debut on commentary. I fully trust you. I'm already impressed by you, and you're already part of the fam. And your partner on commentary, I think, also is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Yes. So we've got our metal bear
Yes, the Metal Bear. I love him. He's very entertaining. Seeing his stuff on Instagram, he's hilarious. I cannot wait to be on commentary with him.
Yeah, no, I think the two of you are going to vibe. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Definitely. And I'm really excited to be there because Jaime is amazing. I'm just excited to be around the Texas fans because I kind of saw how things went. I mean, I see how things are with Loco in that area, and I saw how it was when X Brand went out there the first time and how they meshed, and I think it's just really cool. I think there's certain promotions around that have that kind of, just like humble, hardworking out there though. Like they're painting a picture. They're building something from scratch,
Yes.
and they're painting their own picture. I said we don't play games. We paint pictures. We build things, and that's another Loco is another like homegrown group.
Yes.
I'm really excited for that and hang out with Jaime and learn what I can from everybody. Trust me, like I would never just say I'm going to promote a show. I'm going to go and do it all on my own. Like there's no way I would have done that. I need like the support and the training wheels on right now. So I'm really excited to be able to like contribute what I can to this weekend that we've got going, and learn what I can and hopefully provide something different.
I think you're exactly going to deliver that. And I think bringing it to the Houston crowd and everything is the perfect place. I am excited for you to be there and experience it. And I'm just excited for the show for that weekend and just all of that in general. I'm excited for you because I am just so, it's so cool just seeing from when I first met you and just everything that you've accomplished with an X brand and outside just within yourself and just kicking ass regardless and taking names. Like it's absolutely fucking incredible to see. I want to know, what are some things that you're welcome? What are some things that are next for you? Like I know that some things that you've been a part of also like outside too is like Blood Culture Productions. So
Yeah.
what are some things that included, like what are some things that you have next?
So yes, Blood Culture Productions, in case people are not aware, is brought to you by one of the most hated duos in in deathmatch wrestling. That would be myself and my bestie and creative partner, Josh Alba. Josh, do you want to come say hi?
Hello.
Hi, Josh.
Surprise.
Surprise.
What's going on?
Karlee was asking about blood culture, where blood meets culture. So Josh is like, he's a real like more tech kind of guy. Like he's, cameras and that kind of stuff is his jam. So we've been good collaborators, I feel like, because we talk ideas and I'm a little bit more of an idea person than like I can't always follow through like with the technical skills and stuff. So like Josh has the eye. We did the first Blood Culture production was the first episode of Scar Tours, which was the Mickey Knuckles one. So
that's right.
The concept is simple. They we talk to deathmatch wrestlers and they tell stories. It's not even an interview. It's just sit down, camera on. People have been, hey, pick some of your, the permanent markers that you have on your body from deathmatch wrestling and tell the story of like what happened that day. And so we've done a few of them.
We've put 2 out. Everyone thought we haven't filmed any in a while. We've actually filmed, technically we filmed like 5. We will film a couple more. We have 3 that we're still editing. And we're planning on doing an event. So we want to do like a screening event where we're like, okay, here's 8 episodes you can watch. week after week, something like Dark Side of the Ring in a way. Just release them on YouTube. Yeah, and we're gonna have an event, like a live event, where maybe somebody that was on one of the episodes comes and hangs out with everyone, does like a Q&A. Yeah. And we'll air one of the episodes there in person. You know,
maybe like a little compilation, little sound bites, snippets of some of the episodes.
I like that.
Yeah, we talked about making the event like around kind of like more of an artistic thing. So you know, there's artists that that draw and paint, you know, portraits of wrestlers, or photographers that do amazing work. You know, capture all the gore and everything. Maybe a band, maybe
comedy.
And you know what you don't need to have a little bit of a ultra-violent time is a ring. So maybe a little no ring action as well. But basically, art, performance art, media, but blood culture, in the medical sense, it's a medical term. It's when you take blood and you put it in a medium to see if it grows any sort of germs or viruses or anything on it, right? That's what a blood culture is. Okay, so we're been trying
to grow all the germs.
We're trying to go viral.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That is very. I love the play on words. I love that.
Yeah. Like Joshy came up with the where blood meets culture, and I love it because it's like, I don't know if you know, we have those like the top hats, you know, like they were the aristocrats or whatever, and it's like my good fellow, as we're like sipping on champagne.
Oh yeah, pinkies up.
Right, while we watch people just smash gussets into each other's faces or whatever. So
I dressed up very nicely in Vegas also.
Yeah. Beautifully.
Purpose.
There was a guy that looked a lot like him.
Oh yeah, but that guy got hurt. That guy got messed up pretty bad. But
I saw.
Yeah.
I sent a get well card to him. I hope he got it. I
don't know. I'm gonna find out.
You guys should do like a DNA test to see if you're related.
Well, I'm not. No, there's no way I'm related to that guy. That guy's.
I think it's just similarity in looks. I mean,
that guy's pretty gross. I don't know. Hopefully
although I will say, I guess there's one test to find out if you guys have some relation. Do you like Uncrustables?
Oh, I do. I mean, that guy ripped off my whole bit, to be honest with you. I don't know why. What's funny? It was like everyone made fun of me last year about the Uncrustable thing, and like all of a sudden everyone loves Uncrustables. Yeah. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
I like Uncrustables.
Yeah, it's great.
Maybe I'm purposely.
Influencers.
Mm-hmm. That's a real influencer definition, to be honest with you. You know, you can hate me, love me, but you're going to want to be me. That's how I feel. That's how we're all trying to be. Sorry, I'm gonna get up because my legs hurt, but I think that's all I'm gonna say. So
it was a pleasure seeing you, Josh. Thank you so much for joining us.
So yeah, if any of you have watched the Scar Tours episodes that are up already on YouTube, you can. If you're a wrestler who's maybe interested in doing something like this and you've sat through this interview this long, hit us up.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a really cool way to sit down with somebody and let them sort of freestyle and
absolutely
not have any, constraints on their subject matter or whatever. With the Mickey one, we actually had her at a basement show. So we did like this.
That's right.
Yeah, we did the sit down portion, and then she came to the basement, and it was like a book reading in a way. It was like just a quiet little intimate thing where
I loved that, by the way.
And everybody makes it their own thing. And she kind of called out the boys club or whatever, I guess, as her. Part of her like live performance aspect of it, which was fun. The fans loved it. Well, she also stripped. She also did strip during it.
She sure did.
That could have had something to do with why people loved it. But so, each time we do something, it's a little bit different because everybody's different. And the idea is to put it all together and, come up with some interesting material to entertain people. And Blood Culture also has sponsored some wrestlers and matches as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
As far as the future, I would say, that's kind of where some focus will go. Still, obviously, like X brand, and then we'll just kind of see what happens with the She's Hardcore having another, doing any future shows, tournaments, 16-woman international deathmatch tournaments. Jesus Christ.
Ooh, I do like how that sounds.
Sorry, this just in. So if anyone has been paying attention, one of the wrestlers that we have announced for the show is injured. And so we will not be seeing that person. However, we've already put out our feelers, and we're definitely going to provide you all with a suitable replacement that you will not be dissatisfied with.
Ooh.
So stay tuned. Upcoming very soon. You'll get. We'll fill you in.
Okay.
Who we've come up with. So.
I'm nervous and excited. My palms started sweating a little bit. Oh my god.
Oh.
I was like, I didn't want to look, but I was just like, oh my god, holy shit.
I love it.
I'm excited. So I want to know, what does deathmatch wrestling mean to you?
Well, as I said, it was my first experience. My first, hey, I'm gonna go sit down and watch some people get in the ring and do their thing. Hardcore violence, bashing, smashing, crashing glass, barbed wire, bleeding, all of that was like I busted my wrestling cherry that way, basically. So it's sometimes for me to watch shows that don't have a little bit of that aspect to it. I get a little antsy and distracted, and it's hard for me to stay on point. But truthfully, I think a lot of us love it because we do embrace sort of maybe the darker side of things, so maybe the music that we're into is a little more aggressive or influenced by things violent or things horrific, horror type things. Film wise, big horror fans, always have been. I may not look like a goth, but I swear there's an inner goth girl in here somewhere.
Yes, I knew it.
A lot of that stuff, just has always appealed to me. Even as a little kid, serial killer facts and things like this. I shit you not, in elementary school, I did a book report or something so something always about that sort of the darker side of life, embracing the beauty and that type of thing. The bleeding, the visceral, you're connecting. I describe, I suppose anything could be like this, but in deathmatch wrestling, I really see the special, symbiotic relationship between the person in the ring that has exposed themselves and they're suffering for us to witness. We bond strongly with that. The fan and wrestler interaction there, and the tightly woven, without one, the other doesn't have it. I don't want to say that doesn't survive, but deathmatch fans will live without deathmatch wrestling. But yeah, you got to have both. You got to have the people that lust for it and just love that escape, that suspended reality of going somewhere for a few hours and being able to let go of whatever else is going on and just really connect to something, and we all sort of, we all hold our breath together, and we all scream together, and we all stand up and sit down, and like it really does. I think that's why it's so much more cohesive than, say, just your big huge shows where everybody's going, but they're going to have a good time and watch the show or whatever, but they're not really, in my opinion, becoming that like organism the way
Yes.
that deathmatch does. And I just think that's why we feel so strongly about it. And when you have someone's blood splash on you or something like that, like, come on, is there anything that's more connecting and intimate? And dark, but with redemption, because they don't die. Guess what? They don't die. So we call it a word, but like truthfully, what they're doing is avoiding death. So isn't it that every time they go out there, like they're beating death? They're surviving, and it's ugly and it's beautiful at the same time. And I could go on, but yeah, and I think a lot of people could probably relate to that. And there's probably a million times more people that can't, that are like, you guys are weird.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Good. We are the weirdos. Sorry. Not sorry.
We are the weirdos, mister.
We love it. And we freaking love it. So.
Oh yeah.
I have to imagine myself, because I am a Gen Xer. I have been referred to as the deathmatch granny. So it's already happened.
Oh my God.
I gotta cover my grays a little bit more, but no, I'm one of the elders in this community, and I laugh because I think about, like, what about 20 years from now, 10 or 20 years from now, like, am I going to be out there, like, not joking with my walker or whatever, like, out there just like, yeah, stab him in the face again. Like, I hope so. I don't know. I hope so. And I hope that, I have people around me and new faces. And that's the other thing too, is we all owe deathmatch new faces, new fans.
Yes.
I think people get too greedy and selfish, and they go and they consume it all, and then they go home, and it's like, you need to bring people, you need to bring a friend too, and you need to like make somebody else addicted to this like you are, because we need it.
I agree.
So that's another thing that I'm kind of passionate about, is like to get more eyes on it. And I think that this doubleheader weekend, we're going to get some people that are going to come out maybe to see some of the women that are on the show, that, because there's a market for, people that really enjoy women's wrestling, but maybe they're not huge deathmatch fans, but they're going to stick around because it's all, one thing, and they're going to go, holy, look what they're doing. Oh my gosh, So yeah, putting more eyes on it and making it a little bit more mainstream, although we're starting to see it more mainstream nowadays, aren't we, on television? So
oh yeah,
clearly there are people, we are niche, but we are growing.
Yep, absolutely. Very beautiful answer. I want to know, and I usually ask people their Mount Rushmore, like I break it down into two of your standard professional wrestling and deathmatch, but I would like to know of two different Mount Rushmores of women in wrestling and deathmatch wrestling Mount Rushmore.
Okay. I hate the favorite questions. I really do. Oh God. Because I really hate to narrow it down. I feel like there's, everybody brings something different. So
100%.
Yeah. I don't know. I might just have to like really combine that into one thing.
Yeah. However you want to answer that.
Yeah. I don't know. Or do I, or can I? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really follow close enough when I was younger to like know deeply about like a lot of wrestlers, other than just like, I'm more of a like, hey, I love this, I love this, I love that, I don't always like zoom in on things. I wish I knew I could do this. see. Okay. For now, I'm gonna go just with like really currently, like I think what's on my mind and what's
Oh yeah.
in front of me. And so obviously I got Ludark on here, and
Yes.
Ludark has been she's been around for a long time. She got involved when she was super young.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing and she can do it all. And she is one of the most professional and just easy to work with. But she's not a pushover, so that like person that you get when you're, before she goes in the ring and then she gets out there and you're like, oh yeah, actually, that's right. I wouldn't want to run into her in a dark alley. So she's like a big one for me. So actually who I love, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way too, though, is Toni Storm.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So the Timeless thing, like, just did it for me. I was like, this is the best thing going right now. When people can bring that level of commitment to a character and to their persona, especially having evolved it so much, like not starting out and in this form, but evolving that form into this, like essentially perfect character. And then, like, come on, the match with the blood.
Yes.
With the, like, I was like, is this on television right now? Like, is this happening? So that obviously was huge. So I'll put her up there. There's gonna be people that probably don't love my Mount Rushmore, whatever. Fuck them.
Yeah, there is no wrong answer, love.
Yeah. Legendary, I guess, is the thing. So but somebody brings on their resume, and on what how they make people feel when they are in the ring, and I'm putting Mickey Knuckles on there. She has had obviously her career has spanned a very long time. She's, that's why she's everybody's auntie. Apparently, I'm everybody's granny. Great. But I would say the last couple of years, she has come into her era where she's truly found her confidence.
Yes.
I would say that she's, always had an air of confidence in the ring, but she has like really become, in my opinion, like a very, very just her swag. Let's just put it that way, like her swag. When she comes out, you can just see somebody who's having a great time, who knows in her mind already that she's going to give these people a great show.
Yes.
And that they're gonna walk away having been entertained, and they will talk about that match. And I just love that, and I do have a lot of respect for her. So I would have to. You can't not, in my opinion, have Mickey Knuckles on what would be my sort of Mount Rushmore. Fuck, you're gonna make me say 4 names, aren't you?
Hey, if you want to leave it at 3, that is absolutely okay with me too. However you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really big on like picking favorites and things, but I did. I brought Angel Metro up to you earlier, and people talk about her, and I get that. People get excited about newer faces and seeing somebody pushing themselves and that kind of thing. I would say would reserve a spot on my Mount Rushmore, and in a few years, I would probably put Angel Metro on it. If her trajectory is what I think it is, that's a definite contender right there. And with the way that I see her dedicate herself, I can almost guarantee that that's where she's going. So, yeah. some people, may agree or disagree, and we can agree to disagree on that. Because a lot of people like to be haters up front, especially like a woman who's, very pretty, right off the bat, she's going to get some people like, yeah, but can she wrestle?
Right. It's like, okay, well, watch.
Okay, well, let's see. And like I said, me, dedication, hard work, determination, having goals, setting your sights on things, and like being laser focused on that. I'm not always good at that. So I really admire people that are, I'm like, look at you. You're fucking disciplined. Look at you. Like, I'm eventually going to stumble into where I'm supposed to be, but some people like really hone in on it. And I would say she's an example of someone who, has my respect for that. So I have full respect for, anybody who earns it. And,
Absolutely.
And I know I've talked a lot about women's wrestling, but I really enjoy men's wrestling as well. And I also love that, we are being gender inclusive in wrestling now, and we should be. To me, there's people that are going to say, intergender matches, or it's women's wrestling because this woman is trans or whatever. I always know there's going to be people that have like something to say about something or whatever. And it's like, you know what, how about you just sit down and watch a match, because I don't just see, somebody's assignment or identification or whatever when they get in the ring. It's about their skill. Are they selling for me? Like, am I following this story? Am I on the edge of my seat? Like, what's going to happen next? Or I really hate that one, and I really want that one to win. Or, like, if I'm entertained, I'm not concerned about what's between your legs or what you get into bed with. So, I know I've said a lot in, the form of like supporting women, but like I support anyone that's out there working hard and doing their thing. And mad respect to anyone that's a good and somebody that's contributing something good to our community.
Absolutely. And I think that in itself is one of the things that, I guess, no pun intended to make it sound corny, but I think that is one of the things that makes you hardcore in yourself, of being inclusive and being fantastic and just having a place for everyone and showcasing people who deserve to be showcased. And I very much commend that about you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I really look forward to working with you next month.
I look forward to it too. I cannot wait to see you next month. Veronica, my dear, thank you so much for coming on today. You were a blast. I loved getting to know you and your career and the amazing things you've done, the ways you've trailblazed within this business, and the ways you've helped, and just being unique and having your own place within this community. I cannot thank you enough for coming on here. I would love for you to take the time and tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can follow you, where they can get merch, and what you are doing next.
All right. So let's see. She's Hardcore on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I don't know. Look for Veronica Caine on Twitter. No, maybe not, because I think I had an imposter. You could probably find me on Twitter too, but I never really go on there. I got to get better about that. Merch wise, hit me up. Right now I do have these cute little raglan shirts. I'll try to post some pics and stuff, but I'll have merch in Texas. I have a couple of, trust me, like, my problem is following through. I have 2 Sayozawa designs. So I don't know if you've seen my original with the snake on it, with the gusset, whatever.
Yes.
And I have a second one that I've not put out at all yet, that I will get around to, that he did for me as the cartoon of me in the blue nurse outfit.
Oh, yay. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, where I'm sort of tending to one of the deathmatch wrestlers, which is just a dead person with a bunch of skewers in their foreheads.
Love
Yeah,
it.
but I will get around to putting out some more of stuff like that. And whenever anybody does, purchase She's Hardcore merch, they should know that, they're helping to provide me with funds for buying medical supplies, because I do everything that I do as far as medically, completely volunteer. I make DIY packets for the wrestlers. I hand out wrap, athletic tape, whatever they need. I'm kind of quasi, just besides nurse, also sort of house mom back there. You need scissors, you need a gig, like, what do you need? Like, people are in my, do you have something for diarrhea? I'm like, why, yes, I do, because nobody wants it.
As a matter of fact, yes.
But yeah, anytime you do anything that's supportive, buy the tickets. You get both shows included for the price of ticket. Get yourself to Houston, come to the show. You're going to have a good time. I don't get out of the Philly area much these days. But, come see me there. Come see X Brand, hang out with, some of these East Coast wackos. And yeah, I have cute little tanks and little raglan tops right now. And we'll be doing some other stuff, some swag. So the VIP people are going to get some kind of photo ops and some swag in their little swag bags at the event.
Wonderful. Again, thank you so much. Guys, as for me, you can find me on TikTok, Kakeface_Karlee, Instagram, Kakeface_Karlee 2.0, on YouTube, just as Kakeface Karlee, and on the X Brand Wrestling YouTube channel for X Brand Unleashed. Veronica, thank you again so much for joining me for episode 31.
My pleasure.
I cannot wait to see you in Texas, my dear. And thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, okay, thanks. Bye.